Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but you have to understand I don't have a Birkin or a Kelly. I don't actually own one yet. However, I do know quite a bit about the fashion house and the process that it takes to actually get one of these elusive Hermes bags. So this is something, because I'm in this sort of community and I have an interest in luxury and designer, and especially Hermes bags, I know a lot about because I've learned a lot about it. But talking to some close people that I have in my life, I realized that some of these words might sound a little bit foreign, and I just wanted to sort of break it down for you in case you're interested, like me, on how to get a bag like one of these, either a Birkin or a Kelly, and this actually goes also for a Constance. So I wanted to sort of bring it down to a level that's a lot more understandable and is a lot less mysterious, because I think that Hermes is kind of, it can be a little bit intimidating. And with these different like tips and tricks to getting a Birkin, I'm not saying that you're going to go in and like that you're gonna get offered a bag, but I do think that if you follow these, then you might be a little bit closer the next time you walk in the store. So my first recommendation is to go into the store, and more importantly, it's to not shop online. So Hermes does have an online store, but when you shop through that, the whole process of getting a Birkin basically revolves around your relationship with your SA, or your sales associate. That's what that stands for. It's often talked about like it's gotta be this very forced relationship where there are restrictions on what you're allowed to talk about. It's almost like during recruitment time when you're trying to get a job and you have to talk and act in a certain way, and there are things that you're not allowed to talk about. But I personally don't really view it like that. It's more about building a personal relationship with the person that might be offering you a Birkin, because how the whole thing works is that Hermes offers these elusive bags to people that are really enthusiastic about the brand. I'm someone that genuinely loves Hermes, and I'm not just putting this out there because I think that this is gonna get me a handbag. Trust me, I never want my sales associate to know that I have a YouTube channel. I would never want that to influence it. However, I feel that building a personal relationship, a genuine relationship, really clicking with somebody is a way to get that much closer to buying the bag of your dreams. But the reason why I say don't shop online is because there's not a person that you're actually building a relationship with when you make a purchase on the internet. So it's much more beneficial to you and to be able to show someone that you're really interested in the brand if you make your purchases at a boutique in person. Let me start off with the whole Hermes game, as it's commonly referred to. And it basically is just talking about spending a certain amount before being offered a bag. So Hermes wants to offer their elusive bags, the Birkins, Kellys, and Constances, to people and customers that are genuinely enthusiastic about the brand. So in order to do that and to sort of like weed out the ones that aren't as into the brand, they'll wait and hold off on offering a bag until you reach a certain threshold. And I've often heard that it's basically a 1-to-1 ratio. So Birkins are over $10,000, there's no way around it. But if you were to spend $10,000, you're more likely to be offered a bag after spending that amount of money. No, I really do want you to understand, I'm not saying that this is like the greatest tactic in the world, and I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with having to go through this process, but I think that it's really important to be aware of this before actually going in. You can't just go in and say, I would like a Birkin, and expect to have one offered to you. That's just not how it works. So playing this sort of game is something that you're gonna have to do if you'd like to get a Birkin from the store. Otherwise, there are resellers, and we'll get into that a little bit later. That genuine relationship that I was mentioning is one that I don't think should be super forced. However, saying that, there are some, I guess, quote unquote rules that you should follow. Don't go in there and just say, I would like a Birkin, what do I have to do to get there? If there are other things that you're interested in buying from Hermes anyway, go in with the intention of buying those items first and let it naturally lead up to something bigger. For me, for example, if you had have seen my luxury wishlist video, you would know that there are two specific items that I'm interested in getting from Hermes, and they're the Oran sandals and also the Avalon blanket. Now, there's a little bit of a strategy behind that, even though those are things that I would genuinely like to get, but buying from different sections or different departments from Hermes will help you build a portfolio that will get you a Birkin a little bit faster. So the sandals are obviously from the shoe department, and the blanket is obviously from homewares. But there are other things that you can buy, like small leather goods. There's a Kelly wallet that's stunning. Alyssa Lenore just got it. I don't know if she got it in black or not, but anyway, I'll have her video linked in the description bar below. And then there are other things like jewelry that you can buy. So there's also jewelry that you can buy from if you're interested in that. They have a few rings that I actually really like. But in all of this, I've heard people say that when they're buying from these different sections of the fashion house, that they're buying like junk that they're not going to use. If that's the case, I would recommend you not do this option, because wasting money just to get the in-store Birkin experience might not be worth it at that point if you're just buying things that you genuinely think aren't worth it. So make sure that you take time and actually look into the fashion house and what they offer, and see if there's anything from other departments that you might like to buy as well, and go for those items first. Now, another caveat to this, it does sound like there are a lot of rules, my goodness, but another caveat to this is that if you were to go in and buy other bags that you can just buy like off the shelf, for example, like Lindy or an Evelyn or a Garden Party, don't quote me on this, but from my understanding, they don't actually count towards your purchase history or the spending amount that they're going to look at before offering one of these Birkin or Kelly bags. So what I would suggest in this case is to save your Hermes bag money for one of those larger bags. So don't spend on an Evelyn or a Lindy, and maybe put that money towards something else from the brand that you genuinely love, like pillows to go with your Hermes Avalon or something like that. But there are so many different things that the brand offers, and I really think that it's worth checking that out before you go into the store, and maybe just steer clear of the bags for now. Next tip. Express yourself. And what I mean by this, express your desire for one of these handbags, because often people will go in store and they'll spend quite a bit of money and they still won't get a bag offer, and it might just be because the sales associate doesn't know that you're interested in either a Kellen or a Birkin. And it might just be that the sales associate doesn't genuinely know that you're interested in either a Birkin or a Kelly. So go in, and I wouldn't say the first time, but maybe the second or third time that you're in store, mention it, but in a very casual way. So try not to overthink it. Don't mention it in a really obvious way, like, wow, if I get this, do you think it would get me closer to getting a Birkin? Don't phrase it like that. But I think if you were to just bring up that one day you would love to own this bag, or maybe have a goal. I personally would like a Birkin before I'm 30 years old, but we'll see what life has in store. But I really do think that expressing your desire for a bag will help you get one. And it's likely that after you start spending and building a relationship with one sales associate, that they'll likely ask you, are you interested in something like this, either a Birkin or a Kelly? And that might be your opportunity to say, yeah, I would actually love a Birkin 25 in Cray Togo leather with gold hardware, just in case you're asking. However, I think that it's something that maybe you should let them bring up first if it's within the first couple of appointments, but after that, bring it up yourself in a very nonchalant way without expectations, because it's likely not going to happen just like that. This next tip is to know what you want, and I think that this is really important because, like I mentioned, you can't just walk in store and decide, okay, I would like that Birkin on the shelf. It doesn't work like that. So you need to really know and understand how the brand works. It has to do with the sizes of the bags and the different types of leather, because they'll wear differently and they'll look very different. If you want a more structured bag, maybe Epsom or Togo would suit that better. If you want a more unstructured bag, it would likely be either a Swift or Clemence, but there are so many different types of leathers that I think it's really worth doing your research on that first and foremost. And then colors. Colors come seasonally and they change up every season. So if you're looking for something that's really hot and sought after, but this is the first time walking in the boutique, just know it just might not be a possibility to get that. But if there's something that's often re-released, like black, for example, or gold, those are two very like staple Hermes colors, then you might have a good chance of getting those because they're colors that are re-released often. There are sites out there where you can basically put a bag together on screen online. So I'm just gonna keep using this example. If you did want to see what a Birkin 25 in Cray Togo leather with rose gold hardware is gonna look like, then you can actually go and basically build that on this site, so you can get a really good idea of how it's gonna look as the finished product. Of course, there's also Instagram and Pinterest, and another thing that I would really suggest is to look at some different resellers in your area to see if they have your dream bag, for example, in stock, and it might just be that you can go in and try it on. The only thing is that it's going to be very marked up. Resellers are a great route if you're okay with paying a premium but you don't want to play the Hermes game. So that's one way to sort of get around the whole process and get your bag whenever you want to. Just understand that you're going to be paying a premium. Last but not least, there are two other pieces of information that I think that you should know, and it's about quotas and actually getting approved for getting a bag. In Canada, and I'm pretty sure that it's like this internationally, there's a quota of 2 bags a year. So you can actually only be offered 2 bags. If it's a Birkin or a Kelly or a Constance, you can only get 2 per year. And that might sound very restricting, but it's just the way that it is. And from my understanding, special order bags also contribute to that quota. So if you get a special order and you're also offered a Kelly throughout the year, don't expect to be getting another Birkin. You're gonna have to wait until the next year to start the process again. And next, the approval process actually does involve the manager as well. So once a sales associate sees that, okay, you've spent this much money, you're very enthusiastic about the brand, there's a certain Birkin, for example, that you're after, it's not just their decision. When they get one of those bags in, they might think of you first, but then they also have to get it approved from a store manager. So understand that this just might take a little bit more time than you might have been expecting in the beginning. Okay, my last tip, because this is getting a little bit long-winded, is to try your luck at a different store when you're in a different city. Paris is, for example, known for people going in, no purchase history, asking for a Birkin, and people walking out with it in their very first shot, which is something that is, from what I understand, pretty specific to Paris itself. However, if you were traveling internationally, maybe just try your luck and see at a different boutique that you don't normally shop from in a different country if they might be able to get you your dream bag a little bit faster, because that would just be such a great day if you could just walk in and have your dream Birkin or Kelly just like that. But I think that with all of these tips, you're gonna be just that much closer to getting your dream bag, and trust me, I think it's gonna be worth it. That's everything for today's video. I hope that this was helpful, and again, I don't own one of these bags, so you have to take these recommendations with a grain of salt, but these are just some of the tips and tricks that I'm going to be using to get my dream bag one day, and I'll make sure to take you along the process with me. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!